Every simple request turns into a negotiation, a meltdown, a power struggle. You're not alone and you're not doing anything wrong. But here's the part nobody tells parents. Kids don't resist because they want to fight. They resist because their nervous system can't handle the demand. And when you understand that, getting cooperation becomes 10 times easier. So stay with me to break the fight reactivity cycle. Here's the truth about cooperation. We think kids fight us because they're stubborn, they don't care, they're testing boundaries, they want control, they're being disrespectful. But here's the neurological truth. A dysregulated brain will always choose avoidance, defensiveness, and a meltdown over cooperation. Why are simple directions so hard? Before your child can do what you ask, they must have emotional regulation, plain and simple. Otherwise, there's no cognitive bandwidth. They can't have impulse control. They can't start tasks. Their working memory goes offline. All their systems are overloaded. Even simple requests like put on your socks feels like too much. So the brain reacts with no, pushing back, ignoring you, melting down, negotiating, whining, crying, hiding, arguing. This isn't disobedience, it's overwhelm. Many moms and dads have told me this, and I had a mom named Vanessa, and she told me getting her kid to brush her teeth was like the worst thing in the whole world. And I tried to explain to her that his nervous system was just fried, and every little request really was just too much pressure. So I got her to regulate, connect, and then direct. And the battles started dropping pretty dramatically. He didn't learn new skills. She'd been teaching him how to brush his teeth. He was finally able to access the skills he already had. Kids aren't trying to be hard. Their brain is saying, I can't do that yet, and help me get into a state where I can. Cooperation is a state, not a skill. You can't create that state, but here's 3 steps to get your kids to do without a fight. Number 1, regulate first. Before you give direction, your child's nervous system needs to be in a just right zone. Try deep pressure, a hug, walking together to another room, a 30-second reset, slowing down your voice, your body, just being calm presence, because a regulated brain equals a cooperative child. You're not going to get a regulated, compliant kid without it. Number 2, connect before you direct. Connection opens the brain. Disconnection shuts it down. Use proximity. Get close, not loud. Gentle touch on the arm, soft eye contact, matching their tone. Validating that moment, because connection flips the brain from threat to safety. Just being next to them in a regulated state is often enough to kind of shake up the system and get a kid back on track. And that's incredibly important. We forget the power of just our presence being quiet and calm. It's really powerful. Step 3, give a brain-friendly direction. Make the direction short, concrete, in a calm way, 1 step, 2 taps. Just keep it real simple. Be supportive. And here are some examples. So instead of saying, get ready, we're late. I mean, we've all been there, let's be honest. You can say, shoes on, I'll help you start. See how it feels so different? There's not a threat to it. And, I always like when I'm regulated enough to give the right responses. So we don't say, clean your room right now. We say, let's put our clothes in the baskets first. This is incredibly important for our executive dysfunction kids who don't know where to start. So kids will say no to things and avoid things just because they don't know where to start. And we always think, well, they're so intelligent and they do good in math, or they are so great at Legos, or, they're in the honors club. Just because you have those things doesn't mean you have strong skills across the board. These are all skills. Good news is we can develop them. Stop arguing. So we can say, hey, let's take a breath and try again. And again, it's just a shifting of what you're doing. You're not giving in. You can't demand cooperation. This ain't the 1950s, people. Every once in a while, I do meet some 1950s parents. They don't last long with me. Kids don't resist doing the thing. They resist the internal overwhelm caused by the thing. How about that? That should be an aha, mind-blowing moment, because we don't determine what a nervous system is overwhelmed by. The nervous system does. But what we can do, of course, is regulate. How do we avoid fights before that we start? Because, certain kids are just very much like, I have a kid that's always going to say no first and then, then think about it, right? We certainly have turned that around, but he's just a no kind of kid. Number one, we're going to lower the demand during high stress times. So everybody's high stress times are a little different, but what are common ones? After school, before bed, mornings. Think about that. How can we lower the demands during that time? Maybe the mornings are just like your absolute poop show. Can you have things out? And we're going to continue so we can think about what are some of the steps. So create a predictable rhythm and routine. There's something to be said about predictability and really making sure that we have consistency in our routines. It's not always easy, but predictability equals cooperation for a lot of kids because they will avoid things that are different, almost like a startle to their nervous system. And I find this particularly true of neurodivergent kids as a mom of neurodivergent kids. Number 3, reduce your language by 70%. It's easy for dads, harder for moms. Women use 50% more language than men. It is one of the reasons why kids are more responsive to dads, not because they're fearful of dads. Dads are clearer. So shorter directions land better. If they don't have to think between all the extra words, especially the feeling words, and it's just much more consistent and calm, they're going to be able to really be more likely to say yes. Because as soon as things are overwhelming their nervous system, remember their cup is full, they're going to say no. Number 4, prepare them for transitions. 2 minutes left. Hey, don't forget, we have midterms. This is my true story. We're doing midterms for the first time. So I'm like, what do you think you should be doing? Would you like me to give you advice on how to prepare for midterms? Because my parents from Italy never did. And then my Giancarlo will go, yes, I know this. And then you went to college and you took study skills class and you were like, this is how you study. Transitions are throughout. That is a transition. That is something different. So it's not just like we're going to the mall or we have to go to the grocery store, or we have to go to school, but just think about your kid's nervous system is overreactive. So how can we lessen those demands on the transitions? It is please watch and listen to those episodes that I have on transitions. They are literally my most popular episodes because we all face challenges there. Number 5, let them choose the first micro step. Choice increases buy-in. Buy-in reduces battles. Choice is powerful. When kids of all ages have a say in something, they are much more likely to do it. I mean, think about yourself. Like your boss is like, you will do this versus like, hey, would you like to do this or would you like to do that? Feels very differently. Kids are the same. And guess what? When we teach our kids these things, we set them up for success as adults. We teach them how to do these things as well. If your home feels like a battlefield, it's not because your child is defiant on purpose. It's because their nervous system can't meet the demands being placed on it. That is why you're getting a big fat no to everything. Think of the no as a clue. When you regulate first, connect next, then direct. This is how you get cooperation without power struggles every single time, right? Now, kids of all ages are going to have power struggles depending on their developmental levels. This is normal. But living in a world where you're constantly in a power struggle sucks. How about that? You can get out of that. I promise you. You have to do these things. And remember, what do I always say? The 80% right consistent. I want you to know that even if they struggle with transitions and directions and follow through, there is a way for you to get out of that. And if you haven't already taken my solution matcher, you can go to drroseann.com/help. I know many of you have. We've actually updated it, which is really cool. I try to make it even more focused on nervous system patterns so you really can get the right path for you. So if you've taken it before, I would take it again. What it's going to do is it's going to match you to the right solution for your child's nervous system and give you that right path on how to help your child today and in the future. Again, I know what it's like to be a parent of a kid who always says no, and you can feel pretty rough. Like, wow, I didn't sign up for this. But guess what? You can do it. When you regulate first and you follow these strategies 80% or more, and if you're really struggling and you can't do it, then I want you to go back to basics. And I want you to just focus on regulating yourself, because you are probably the person who's stuck. And there could be a lot of reasons. And I say that with love. We've all been there, but you can't stay there. You owe it to yourself, and you owe it to your kid, and you owe it to the people that are around you that love you. Get started, get rid of this no lack of cooperation. You got this, and start regulating.
Want more insights and solutions? Well, subscribe to our Dysregulation Insider, and it will show up in your inbox every week.